Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with Serkworks, and this is Fan Art Friday. And I have to apologize, I didn't get a Fan Art Friday video up last week. Of course, we had Christmas and everything going on, so it got a little hectic, so I wasn't able to post. But I was trying to for a minute, and I'm like, you know what? I think people will give me a break if I don't. So what we're going to do today, we're going to continue on what we did from the last Fan Art Friday a couple weeks ago that we did a Finn, Ray, and BB8 ink drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and color that in because I don't know, I was kind of happy with the way it turned out, kind of a cute kind of version of them. When I did post the last video, I posted it on the Friday after it premiered, The Force Awakens premiered. So I hadn't seen it at the time, and I was just basically saying, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to go get to see it. And, you know, of course, by the time it aired, many of you guys had, and so had I, but I pre-recorded it. So, but I did see Force Awakens, and I don't know what to say. I really enjoyed it. There were, you know, upon the first viewing, there were a couple of issues I had, but I think that's going to be the case with anything. I don't think there was anything they could have done where I wouldn't have. I mean, to me, it's basically everything I wanted. And I've seen it 3 times now. And the second viewing was even better, and the third was even better than that. So it seemed like the second viewing, those little minor quibbles I had with it, they just kind of went away. As I had time to digest it and everything. And like I said, they were minor quibbles because to me, like I said, I think it was just everything I wanted and more. So yeah, it was kind of funny. So I went and saw it at a 2 a.m. showing. I got some sleep in because I've got the day job now. So I got some sleep in, went and saw it at 2 in the morning. Went, slept for a couple hours, then went into work, and that day they offered us a private screening at work. One of the company I work for, one of their vendors rented out a theater, and they had like 5 tickets, and I'm like, well, I already saw it, I'll let other people, but evidently there weren't a whole lot of Star Wars fans in my office, so I'm like, well, if no one's going to take it, I'm going to go see it again. So, and plus it was, you know, get the day off work and go see Star Wars. So I'm like, how can I argue with that? And then the third time I went and took my kids, or my boys anyway. I was trying to get my daughter to see it because I thought she would really enjoy it with the main female protagonist and everything. But I don't know. I'll get her to watch it. But she had something. She was kind of on the fence. She had offered to go to a sleepover party and everything too. So hopefully she'll see it because I think she will enjoy it. So, but I think most of the people I've talked to, Star Wars fans and everything, it seems fairly unanimous that that they do like the movie. Again, some people have minor problems. But so I was watching a lot of reviews and everything, and it's got a pretty good standing on Rotten Tomatoes. It's in the 90s somewhere. So I think most people do enjoy it. And myself included. But then I started watching reviews, and then I started getting in this kind of rabbit hole of these people that were saying how bad it sucked and everything. And I listened to a number of these reviews, and it's just people going on, and I think that they're just hating it just because they want to hate stuff. And I don't think most of the people that have these major problems or keep saying that it sucks and everything are true Star Wars fans. And there's some reasons for that, but most of the people, these reviews, I mean, they would just go on and on. Oh, this part sucks because this, and this part sucks, but they don't offer any solutions, or oh, they should have done this. This would have been better. It's just basically, I hate this because I like hating stuff, and it gets me a lot of YouTube views if I scream and yell and rant and rave and everything. So, but yeah, like what I was saying, I don't think the people that have major problems with this movie are true Star Wars fans. Some of the people that were reviewing it seemed like they would compare it to like the prequel, like a lot of, I didn't know there were that many fans that really dug the prequels that much, but a lot of the kind of the haters, they seem to, go back and, oh, I like this, and this was great in the prequels and all that. And if you like the prequels, that's fine. I mean, there's bits and pieces of those I like, of the prequels I like too. I mean, they're not, it's not my kind of what I think Star Wars should be. And the other half of them seem like they kept bringing up the expanded universe. And I've read some of the stuff from the expanded universe, and some of it's okay and everything, but again, it's not Star Wars. And I think the main problem with the expanded universe, and I'm glad they got rid of it, not just main reason was so now we can tell this story and we don't have to abide by all that groundwork, because it's so convoluted and everything, all the different directions. And I haven't read all the expanded universe, but some of the major ones like the Thrawn trilogy and things like that. But I think part of the problem with the expanded universe is that they hired a bunch of science fiction writers to write what is essentially a fantasy story. And when you think about it, Star Wars is a fantasy story. It's a fantasy story set in space. It's not really science fiction. You can make the argument that it is, but I would say that it's a fantasy story. And I mean, it's got wizards and it's got knights and it's got swords and princesses and things, and it's just set in space. It's not Star Trek. And I think a lot of the expanded universe come at it from that angle, because when I read them, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And The Force Awakens feels like Star Wars to me. The prequels didn't feel like Star Wars to me. The expanded universe doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. Force Awakens does. And, it's weird because in the same breath, somebody will say, oh, I don't like this because they're borrowing too much from the original Star Wars and they're giving too much fan service or whatever. But then they'll turn right back around and says, it's not enough like Star Wars. This character was, not like Star Wars, or it's just so a lot of, and you can watch the movie and you can hate it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I think true Star Wars fans understand that this is a fantasy story, and it's a space opera, and it's supposed to be fun and exciting. And I don't, a lot of the criticisms that I've heard are like, well, how can this be this way? Or why does this character do that? Or how can this character do this? And it's like they have to be, it's like they want to be spoon-fed all this information in the form of exposition. I mean, I don't, I use my imagination. If somebody says, well, how can this character do this or whatever, I can come up with two or three different reasons why. And maybe those aren't true, maybe they are, but it gets me thinking, and it's and I can think of reasons why those are the case. And I don't want to get into spoilers too much on this one. If I do, I'll kind of put up a little warning. But I don't care, what the different factions of the Separatists and the Trade Federation, or I don't want to know about the inner workings of the Senate and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's not Star Wars, and that seems to be what people are looking for. The people that are complaining about Star Wars, it's like they can't understand. And there's a lot of far-fetched stuff. Sure, it's a Star Wars movie. I mean, no one ever complained that when 3PO gave out the odds of navigating an asteroid field and Han Solo does it, no one's like, well, how does that happen? It's a Star Wars movie. I mean, and you can any of these complaints can be levied at any of the other Star Wars films. Definitely the prequels, even the originals. I mean, there's problems. I didn't find any problem. I thought all the performances were great. Some people were complaining about the acting. But the acting in Star Wars, there's problems with the acting in Star Wars. I love Mark Hamill, but he's not the best actor, But I buy him as Luke Skywalker, And, I won't even bring up the prequels, but a lot of that has to do with scripts. But the acting isn't great. I heard one reviewer saying how bad the acting was and saying it was better in the prequels. And I'm like, this is crazy. So, I don't know. It's a very weird thing. And, I think true Star Wars fans are going to like this. And there's a lot of coincidences, and some of those I can make reasons why, and some of it you kind of just have to accept it for what it is. I mean, we're telling a story, we're telling a fantasy story, and this one definitely has a lot faster pace. We introduce a lot of people. Sure, that maybe that's maybe the way they get to know each other and the friendships, they happen pretty quick. But we don't have time to tell all that. And I think they did a really good job of introducing characters and how their friendships and how they clicked. And I thought the chemistry between almost all the characters was really great. I like the new characters. There's things in the movie that are very reminiscent of A New Hope, but there's also things in there that are from, Empire and Jedi and little nods to that. And I really like that, but I think the direction is going, and I think we kind of needed to have that to establish where we're going to go. Because at the end, there's still a lot of mysteries. There's a lot, and that's like I was saying, I'm thinking, well, maybe this is because of this and that's because of that, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of the criticisms people have as to why this is this way, maybe, most likely those things will be answered. Either, they might do it in some comic book form or whatever. There's certain things that aren't really that, might be interesting to know, but it's not crucial to know and able to move on. And any of these criticisms, I think you can explain away, or you can come up with a solution if you're at, the least bit creative at all. And again, maybe that's not the actual way it is, or maybe it is. I don't know. But there's if you remember, if you go back to other videos, there were certain things that I said, well, I hope this happens. I don't want Han Solo and Princess Leia to be happily married with, their kids and all this stuff, like in the EU, the expanded universe and everything. I want Han Solo to be a smuggler. And I think the way they these characters, they were true to the characters, but they had growth to them. And I don't know if I want to get too much into different things, but they've seen things, they've been through things, and they're different people. Well, one I can say because it's in the trailer, but Han Solo, he's not as much of a cynic anymore. He's seen things that made him, believe the Force, and he knows things like that. So he's not the same person, but he's still what we love about Han Solo. And you can say that for most of the other characters as well. But anyway, we're getting close to wrapping this up. We're just kind of putting the finishing touches on this particular drawing. I'll probably be doing some more Star Wars fan art, because I got still a lot to talk about. This one kind of just stuck in my craw with a lot of the criticisms. And again, I think the resounding response to the movie is that it's favorable. But there are some people that, and I wanted to leave comments, for every stupid question they had, why this is that, and I wanted to leave, well, maybe because of this or this, but I don't want to go through and type all that stuff, so I just thought I'd do it on my own video. But if you disagree with me, leave a comment. Tell me if you didn't like it, give a comment, tell me why. But give me a solution to what you would do differently. Don't just say, oh, this sucked, because everything sucks. If you have something intelligent to say, then say it. If you have problems with it, if you loved it, let me know in the comment section. I'll be back next week with another Fan Art Friday. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next week. And that is all.